Hello, Amy Elizabeth, somatic and intuitive healer here. The moon is full right now. And while she peaks later this evening, I wanted to just pop on and have a chat because I'm hearing a lot of um, doom and gloom with this moon, which I don't personally agree with. And a lot of the doom and gloom comes from the fact that it is conjunct Mars. Mars retrograde, to be specific. So, to set the scene, we've got the sun in Sagittarius at 16 degrees. We have the moon, where it will be later this evening at 16 degrees of Gemini, conjunct a retrograde Mars. So the moon represents our intuition and our emotion. It's a heart space. It represents our safety. Mars retrograde, Mars has this wild cycle, and it is 24 to 26 and a half months long. And so, in about a year and a quarter, he zips through the entire zodiac and he lands in a sign where he hangs out for a 7 month period. And this year, he's hanging out for a 7 month period in Gemini. So, we're ending the year that we started with a Venus retrograde with a Mars retrograde, which is leaving a lot of people I know. I've been talking to clients with astrology readings, all of the other pieces, feeling like they can't go, they can't do. And I want to just invite the perspective that now is not a time to be going and doing. Now is a time to be slowing down. Hellenistic astrology was born here in the northern hemisphere, so it is very, very based in the seasonal changes. Um, and right now, seasonally, we are continuing to move deeper into the dark. We're being, which is an energetic call to move inside, to not be doing so much, not be going. And this Mars retrograde could potentially, for those that feel capable or feel willing to push their edges, be an opportunity to expand into this new higher vibration that is continuing to land and will be continuing to land over the next about it's 2022, so about 4 or 5 years. um Mars is our action in the world. Mars is a warrior. Mars is also our desire. So having our emotion and our intuition come into conjunction, which is a supportive aspect. They're like in a meeting together. They're talking about things with retrograde Mars, who is busy reviewing, because that's what a retrograde is. It's a review, it's a restructuring of what the actions have been. It feels really nourishing. It's Gemini in its lowest is flighty and unreliable. It is unstable, but Gemini in its highest is this hummingbird that moves from flower to flower to flower. And in moving from flower to flower, it's collecting information and it is gathering various perspectives. Because if we've got, something here in the middle and this hummingbird is moving around, it's perspective gathering right now. So Mars is inviting us to look at our behavior, to look at the actions we've taken from a variety of perspectives. And he's going to offer us one more chance when he stations direct in January to complete his time in Gemini. Um, but this is feels like an ask to me of, are you taking action from your heart? Are you considering the perspectives of others and not just yourself before you take action? And keeping in mind that Gemini is ruled by Mercury, who has just moved into Capricorn. So Mercury has moved into the sign of the CEO of the zodiac. And we're watching a lot of people in power, CEOs and upper level management, really make a mess of things because they're not listening and they're not communicating, Mercury, with uh, the people. And the moon is often represented by the people. And the moon right now is in Gemini with Mars. Both of them are answering to Mercury. So, how do we, the people, help those in authority hear our voices? That's one of the asks here. Mercury is going to station retrograde at the end of the month on the 29th. And we're going to end the year with Mars, Mercury, so two personal planets, and Uranus still retrograde. They are going to all shift and head direct in January, but that does not mean they're going to be clear of their shadows. The energy is going to change, but it's not really time yet. Right now, we are waiting. We're being asked to slow down, to shift through information, to shift through perspectives so that we can really hone in on what feels aligned and what feels like it's the highest. It's not time to act yet, it is time to feel. Um, and when we take action on our emotions, oftentimes we're reacting rather than responding. All these like it's retrograde season. Um, so I'm feeling like this Mars full moon conjunction is really, really good. It's also supported by this lovely, amazing trine with Saturn and Aquarius. And the trine with Saturn and Aquarius is much closer than the Neptune square. The trine with Saturn and Aquarius, the moon takes place at 16 degrees. So there's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 is closer than it's 5-degree orb rather than a 7-degree orb. And I want to focus on the Saturn piece of this. Saturn is our structure. But Saturn's also an Aquarius. So how can we innovate our structure? How do we change our structure? And here we're back in this Gemini energy of, and there's a lot of air energy. This is an air trine. So it's having ideas and it's not necessarily acting on them. This is the planning stage. This is the gestation stage where we're just starting to have ideas and nourish them and see how far we can play with them before it is time in like April to start to take motion toward them. It's not time to take motion right now. It's time to turn inward and just be. So, this trine with Aquarius feels like additional support to this moon for me, saying, hey, I see that you're reviewing your actions. How can you shift your structure? How can you innovate your structure so that you are more in line, so that you're more true to what you say you want to be? Are you encompassing the whole with your mission statement? Whatever your mission statement is, whether it's a personal mission statement or a mission statement for your business or a mission statement for your church or whatever, a mission statement for your state, your country, are you lining up your actions and your words? Are you in integrity? Is your structure sound? These are all Saturn words. If you want to dive deeper into Saturn and you are in a female body or female identifying, plan on joining my women's circle because we are doing Saturn, Saturn, Saturn all month. As we start to peel back this period that is the end of the year between now and April, where we're releasing. This is not a time for setting intentions. This is a time, unless your intentions are about what you're letting go of, what you're uncovering, what you're getting curious about. It's not a time for growth. This is a time for release in a big annual cycle. I also mentioned there's a 7 orb square to our friend Neptune who went direct on December 3rd. Now he is still in at the same degree. He's at that 22-degree mark of Pisces. He's in his home sign. Um, this square with Mars and the moon. Neptune is addiction. Neptune is the places that we don't tell ourselves the whole story. Neptune is the places that an addiction is getting addicted to your own story. That is a piece that has been coming up a lot lately. Um, and that my women's circle members, you've all heard me say it. Where are you addicted to your own story to the point where you can't see any other perspectives? Or maybe your addiction is to so many other perspectives that you're not seeing yourself as a valuable player. Neptune in its highest is this beautiful androgynous shamanic energy and plugging into these bigger cycles, like getting up into that shamanic place and out of our little human self, recognizing that we are in a big, big cycle. I've been saying for 2 years, we're in the end of this monster movie. And my clients keep saying, well, when is the monster movie going to end? We've been doing this for 2 years. And I just want to remind you all, we are in a cosmic cycle. In cosmic cycles, 2 years are a blink, they're nothing. And our job is to really be boots on the ground, making the changes in our day to day lives, whether it's becoming an environmental warrior and using less plastic in your home, having less food waste. So that's a boots on the ground, earthy, hands-on material change you can make. Maybe you're changing what your relationship is with yourself and your self-worth. You're taking better care of yourself. You're meeting your own needs better. You're starting to recognize where you are the person in your own way and nobody else is in your way. All things to think about with Mercury and Mars and Neptune and Saturn and how these all play in. The last piece I want to touch in is that Venus and Jupiter are also in a 2 or 3 degree orb square, with Venus closing out her time in Sagittarius and Jupiter having stationed direct in Pisces and is now preparing to reping the world point and really expand that and blow that up and remind us to be galactic. Like, think bigger than yourself. Think bigger than your family or the clan that lives in your home. Think bigger than your neighborhood. Think bigger than your town or city. Think bigger than your state. Think bigger than your country. Think bigger than your hemisphere. Think bigger than this planet. This is galactic thinking we're being asked to do so that we can expand into something more. And yes, we've got our two benefics in a square. And I like to see squares as opportunity. Yes, they come with challenges. And challenges are growth points. They're the points that stress us, because not all stress is bad. They're the points that stress us enough to ask us to expand, to gather a different perspective. Mars and the moon in Gemini, reporting to Mercury over in Capricorn. Um, and recognize that conflict and challenge is a gift. It's a gift of life happening for you so you can start to relate and move and be in the world and of the world differently than you ever have before. So I'm going to lean into all the good juiciness of this moon rather than the, oh my goodness, Mars is involved. Mars is great. Mars is our desires. And the root of the word desire in Latin means of the stars. So if you want to dig into your stars a little bit more, reach out, set up an astrology reading. Join my women's circle. That is the number one best way to really dive into your astrology on a month to month basis and really hone in on getting to know how your archetypes interact with each other and how the transits are affecting you in ways that you maybe haven't thought of before. So I want to invite you to like, comment, Share me with your people and be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you get notified when I go live. I will drop contact information down below if you have questions that you want asked. By all means, drop those in the comments or reach out to me privately. And mark your calendar. Look at my calendar quick here. January 9th at noon Central, I will be going live with my colleague Becca, to answer some questions and interact with you. And what we're going to be talking about is healing and addressing the body, not just the physical body, the energetic body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, and the mental body. So we would love to hear from you.